Do you know how long it took to make Coraline using stop motion animation? According to Leica's behind the scenes YouTube video, there were over 207,000 different face combinations for Coraline. In this speech, I'll explain how long it took to make the movie using stop motion animation, the behind the scenes for the puppets of Coraline, and how many people worked on this movie. I'm also going to add a little bit of background information about the movie and about the studio, since if you do not know about it, I will explain a little bit. So, the movie is about an 11-year-old girl who finds a tiny door in her new house. And when she goes through, she finds another world with her other parents, and it's very extravagant and more fun for her than the world she lives in. But it's not all what she seems. I'm going to leave it at there, so if you haven't watched it and you would like to, you can go watch it. And then, well, this movie came out in 2009, and it's based off the book Coraline by Neil Gaiman. And the studio that produced it is Leica Studios, and they've specialized in stop motion animation, and they've produced other movies like Paranorman and The Box Trolls and Kubo and the Two Strings and a few other ones. But yeah. And now I'm going to talk about the rest of my speech. So I'm going to start with how long it took to make this movie. It took 18 months and then over 2 years of pre-production after that. In this, they did 24 frames per second, so that would be about 144,000 frames to make this movie. And the movie is an hour and 50 minutes-ish. And then, according to Hidden Worlds, the films of Leica from the Museum of Pop Culture, Coraline marks the first time that a stop-motion animation morphing sequence has ever been accomplished. The sequence runs for 130 frames, or nearly 6 seconds. That really shows how much effort was put in this, I feel. And then, this also was the longest stop-motion animation film for a while, but it is not anymore. Next, I'm going to be talking about the puppets and the behind the scenes of the puppets. So, and the making of the puppets. So, each puppet is made of a wired skeleton and then covered with silicone. So it's posable and good for the stop-motion animation. There are multiple puppets of each character. Like for Coraline, there's 28 different puppets. This is a doll of Coraline, not a puppet, but I feel like this is an accurate representation of kind of what the puppet would be. So I wanted to show you. And then the actual Coraline puppet is 9.5 inches tall. This doll that I have is not, but yeah. And then there were many people hired for specific things to work on for the puppets. Like one woman specifically made the hair for the puppets, and she used different types of hair and fiber and layered with glue and wire to make it manipulated and posable. There was also a whole team strictly focused on the creation of hands. And then finally, another woman who created the tiny sweaters for the film. And she used knitting needles that were as thin as human hair. That's crazy. And then for all that information is from the website Buttons for Eyes with a Z at the end. Yeah. And then finally, all the people that worked on it. I'm going to start with this one because I was just talking about the puppets. So, to construct one puppet for Coraline, 10 craftspeople worked for 3 to 4 months. And then, yeah, that's... the director for this is Henry Selick, and he also directed Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach, and obviously other films, but those ones I feel like are very notable. And then at the peak of this movie, there were 450 people working on it. There were 30 to 35 animators and digital designers and more than 250 technicians and designers. Obviously, there's a lot of work that went into this movie with all of the people that worked on it and how long it took and all the dedication for the puppets. And you can really see this effort and how much. And since this movie is so well loved, it has paid off for them.